I am not a fan of the cops. Even before the George Floyd, I don't know if you want to call it murder or manslaughter, his death by the cops, wasn't a fan of the cops. I watched a lot of these First Amendment auditing videos of police, arresting people for filming on a public sidewalk. Regardless of the situation, that's not an illegal act, regardless of that. And then this Rayshard Brooks thing. I did a video, I think, 2 days ago about this, and I professed that it doesn't look good for Rayshard Brooks because he fought back after he was being arrested. The DA in Atlanta, I think it's Atlanta, filed felony murder charges against the cop. So that's interesting because if you saw, let's go over the events real quick. He Rayshard Brooks passed out in his car, obviously intoxicated, behind the wheel, car running in the drive-through lane. People had to go around him. So as they were going around him, someone made a phone call, said, hey, there's some guy asleep in a car blocking the drive-through. Police show up. And if you see the video, and I can't play it, but what I'll do is I will comment on the video on my other two channels on Library and BitChute. So this will just be the clean version for YouTube so Susan Wojcicki won't get her panties in a bunch. Because we all know how she doesn't like the truth, apparently. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So the cops come up to him, open the door, and go, hey, buddy, you all right? And he goes, huh, what? Oh, yeah, just, all right. Can you pull over there, please? And he pulls over and parks. So for about 30 to 40 minutes-ish, they were talking to the guy. And it went cordial. Both sides were respectful of each other. Rayshard wasn't yelling at him. The cops weren't dropping N-bombs and, saying, hey, I know what kind of color you are, so I have to, assume that you're guilty. None of that was going on. There's a conversation. And he goes, hey, look, can you take a breathalyzer test? And the guy, Rayshard goes, I don't want to. Oh, okay, fine. I'll do it. So he does it. You see him taking it. Puff, 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 blowing or whatever. I've never done it, so he does it. And then what happens? He looks at it and goes, wow. He goes, turn around. Now, he didn't say you're under arrest first, but usually when it says turn around, that's in the process of him saying next, you're under arrest. Because he didn't get to that chance yet because Rayshard started fighting the cops. He started punching them, and the cops were trying to hold him down, and the cop pulled out his taser, was kind of right on his leg, and didn't work. Rayshard was a big dude. So he grabbed his stun gun, and you could hear the cops, don't grab it. And he started pummeling these guys, and needed like a DDT, or one of the Western movies, they push him up, pull him up over back here behind you, put him on his back. Gets up, starts running, so the cop starts chasing after him. And you see for just a second, the guy had both guys, the Rayshard and the cop, had tasers. Because I think he hit him once and he was shocking him, it didn't work. So Rayshard shot back at the cop. Immediately, the cop drops whatever he has, pulls out his gun, and shoots Rayshard Brooks 3 times. Maybe it was twice, I think he missed once. And then they say for about 2 minutes, they were like, oh crap, and they started giving medical treatment to him. Now they said, the DA said that, he kicked him or one of their cops put his foot on his shoulder. Don't really know about that. I don't think I've saw the video of that. But that's what we know so far. So what? Did they do a thorough investigation? No. They fell to the mob and charged this guy with felony murder, which is the ultimate end of felony murder, if convicted, is death penalty in Georgia. So, in response to that, and I'm glad the cops are starting to stand up a little bit. Now, I understand, okay? They need some reform, okay? Some. Not a lot, but some, okay? There are a lot of races, colors and creeds and religions and sexualities in the police force as we speak right now. So we know that's not really the problem. It's probably training, if you will. There was a really good podcast with Jocko Willink and Joe Rogan, and he was describing, it's like a really good 30-minute segment where Jocko Willink was talking about, pulling the people off the line, retraining them, making sure, because a lot of times when soldiers, airmen, SEALs, Navy personnel. They go on long deployments. They're in the thick of it. They're usually there for about a year, and they pull them off. You don't want to send somebody there for longer than a year in a conflict zone such as Afghanistan or Iraq. That's just bad news. There have been deployments for a year and a half, I think, in the past. I have personally never went on a deployment to Iraq or Afghanistan. When I was in the Army, I just want to put that out there. I never claimed I have, because it's just impossible to, try to fake that story. But for the 20 years I was in, I never went. It's just one of those things where it's not that I didn't want to go. It just, my number never got called up. And I was part of a very few amount of people that ever actually that happened to. So, but I do know that I've seen some people who've come back from long deployments, and they're not the same. They don't necessarily have PTSD, but they're just kind of quiet, and or they're running the gamut of different things. And so I would assume that's the same thing with police. You keep going out and seeing the worst of humanity every night. Some guy beating the crap out of his wife, or smacking his kids around, or just normal things like investigating a break-in. You're like, oh crap, it's a break-in, so they got to roll up there pretty deep, and act like something's going to happen, and a lot of times it doesn't, and that's the thing. So that sort of thing constantly wears on you. So you have to assume it would make sense to bring these police off the line a little bit, put them on desk work, or put them on some retraining. Some combat training, some I say combat training, some like self-defense training to make sure that you don't use chokeholds, and only if your life depends on it or something like that. But there are some things that there needs to be done. So several Atlanta police officers have called in sick after a fired officer was charged with felony murder for fatally shooting a black man in the back. Now, again, look how they reference this. Murder for fatally shooting a man in the back. Not a black man, but a man in the back. But notice how they don't explain the situation. When you read that, you assume the cops are like, bah, 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 hey, you shot him in the back. A-okay. That's not what happened. I just described what happened. But the news media, they don't have, I guess they charge by words, so they can't put all that stuff in there. It is unclear how many officers called in sick or did not show up to their shift Wednesday evening. Interesting enough, there's a lot of police scanners out there for like Zone 5, Zone 6, Zone 4, Zone 3, all the specific zones that the police precincts and substations monitor and patrol. A lot of them were silent. But the narrative is like, oh, we're good. As you'll see here in a second. The Atlanta Police Department said that it was experiencing a higher than usual number of call-ins, but quelled rumors that multiple officers walked out during the shift. Now, if you look at Twitter, there's a couple of people on there that stated that they know firsthand that a lot of officers were out. I mean, I'm talking about a lot, where the police scanners were quiet. That's not very usual, if you say. All right. So, the Democrat has to spew her nonsense. We do have enough officers to cover us through the night, Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms said to CNN on Wednesday in this article. Okay. Hold on, let's go. That article. All right. So, Bottoms said the other law enforcement agencies in the area would help patrol the city if needed. Who's to say they didn't call out too? That's the thing. It's like, so she's trying to, I don't know, backtrack and sort of, like the article stated, quell rumors that they don't have enough police officers. Well, police scanners don't lie. We have other partners across the metro area, including assistance from state and from the county and from other jurisdictions. So we will be fine. Fine? Not great? Fine's like, I'm fine. Doesn't mean you're great. Earlier on Wednesday, Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard, and oh, by the way, Paul Howard, that guy's got some, that guy's in some beef right now. Announced 11 charges against former officer Garrett Rolfe, who was fired after he shot 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks twice in the back on Friday night. A third shot hit the car with 3 people inside. Yeah. There might be an issue with that, where he was pointing his weapon at. That's the only thing I could think of where he was sort of not thinking about what he was doing. But again, you have some guy who just stole a taser, or your taser, I think the other guy's taser, and shot it at your face. What are you supposed to do? You get all that adrenaline pumping. The guy just beat the crap out of you, both you and the other cop. So what are you supposed to do? I think, I don't know. I don't think he deserved to die. But when you fight the cops, there's that saying, you can't beat the ride, but you can beat the rap. He should have fought this in court. Why didn't he? Because he was on probation. That's why. That's what they don't mention in this article, is that Rayshard Brooks was on probation. Oh, by the way, Rayshard Brooks was on probation. Do you know for what crime? Okay, I got this from The Sun. I think this was an article today. It says, does Rayshard Brooks have a criminal history? Brooks had previously been convicted of false imprisonment, simple battery simple, and felony cruelty to children, the Mail reported. He reportedly pled guilty to the charges dating back to 2014. The data was sentenced to 1 year in prison and 6 on probation for 1 count and 12 months for each of the 3 other counts. After revised sentencing, he was sent back to prison in July 2016. In December of 2019, a warrant was issued for his arrest, which was revoked a month later. Was Rayshard Brooks on probation that night? He was shot. Reports indicate Brooks was on probation that night of his death. So that would beg to answer the question, why did he fight the police? Because he didn't want to go back to jail. Documents cited by the Mail indicate Brooks would have been jailed if he was arrested for DUI. The sobriety test Rolfe and Bronson administered registered Brooks' blood alcohol level at a 0.108%. The legal limit is 0.08. Whoa there. And then autopsy was reported as a homicide. So, there you go. He was a criminal, had a criminal past, and for some reason, he had a arrest warrant put on him in 2019, but it was revoked. This guy seemed like he was given a lot of different chances, and he just pissed them all away. And he was on, like I said, probation, fought the police because he didn't want to go back to jail. But the cat was already in the bag. They already knew who your name was. You might as well just went to jail. Because now, look what we got. The Atlanta Police Department said on Monday that 8 of its officers have resigned since June 1st. Brooks' death comes on the heels of a massive demonstrations protesting and the burning down of a Wendy's, where for some reason that made a lot of sense. And I think there's some video of some white woman burning it down, which makes even less sense. Anyways, the night after Brooks died, protesters took to the streets of Atlanta and shut down an interstate. So let me ask this question here. Who are these protesters mad at? The cops? Why? Did they see the video? Probably not. But even if they saw the video, they probably didn't care. They're like, oh, they shouldn't have shot him. That is a good argument. Maybe the cops shouldn't have shot him. Okay? However, the problem is that he pointed a stun gun that he stole off the cops after he got into a fight with them. This is messed up. I don't think the cop should have 11 charges against him. For all this was a normal encounter that immediately went TU as soon as he started fighting the cops. What were the cops supposed to do? Let him run? The guy was driving drunk. That's illegal. This all started with Rayshard Brooks drinking and driving and passing out in a Wendy's. That's it. You know whose fault it is? 100% right now, at that point, before the police interaction, Rayshard Brooks. It was his fault that he drank, and he admitted to it on camera, 1.5 margaritas of top shelf tequila. And now look where we're at. More bullcrap in the world because some jackwagon decided to drink and drive.